So here we are in the Coffee Chug Cafe. We have found a gremlin. This gremlin is on the prowl, and what many people don't realize is my dear friend Flopsy hangs out in Coffee Chug Cafe. And Flopsy is an amazing, smart, intelligent, worldwide traveler llama that needs to be protected. This is Flopsy. Flopsy has a fan club, a Facebook page, a social media presence. Flopsy is many things. Flopsy is not a fan of gremlins. And so Flopsy has found a workaround to solve this problem, and she has used her biomimicry and has gone into the pack and found my headlamp from traveling in the Smoky Mountains. What will this do? Let's find out. Alright, so here we are with the Dexter Industries Go Box. This is Engineer Notebook Mission 3, and the one that I'm really excited about. So Mission 1 was simply getting the bad boy built. Mission 2 was understanding how to make the wheels go forward and backwards and right and left around an obstacle course. Now we're in 3 and now getting into some sensors, in this case biomimicry, which is awesome because this is like the focal point of so much of robotics and engineering. As it states right here in the book, and there's so much to read, which is really good for kids. I think it will get them super excited, and you could do a lot of just kind of basic research to understand what they want to do, but understanding that it's understanding how nature uses strategies to cope and survive, and how do we apply that to robots. And we see that all the time. If you're looking at any of the latest robots, how they're so close and look just like animals and elements in nature. It's simply amazing. So anyways, you get this engineer notebook, and the goal here with this one, as you can see, is to identify the characteristics. We're going to be using a light sensor, so it comes with a light sensor right here, and then it gives you some basic materials to kind of create some zip ties and different things like that to spruce up your robot car to look like the animal that you want to create. And so I haven't quite decided what I want to morph it into. I'm thinking about 3D printing a body on it of some sort, but I'm not sure what yet. But as you go through, the goal here is to use this sensor to make sure that students can understand it, and understanding light readings and threshold values and how to calculate it, and just to keep it simple. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. And so as they go through this book again, cleaning things up, giving me some examples of code and how to make it go on and off, and then using Scratch to make it happen. So I'm really excited to dive into this, and so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and link up my sensors, and in the meantime be thinking about what animal it is that I want to turn it into. So what we have here is we have a gremlin. He's been exposed to water, and he's on the prowl. Over here we have my dear friend Flopsy, and everybody knows Flopsy the llama, one of the coolest animals of all the coolest animals. Flopsy is terrified of gremlins. So Flopsy has found a trick. Flopsy has found out that if you have light, in this case Flopsy has her headlamp on, then the gremlin will stay away. How do we know? The gremlin doesn't like any light threshold value higher than 550. So what happens when the light gets too bright? Let's find out. Alright, so what we got right now here is a basic Scratch program. I've kind of got two programs within one here. This is just built from the suggestion tutorial that GoPiGo provided. I've just got it when I hit the up arrow. So in the control, drag that over, and our broadcast, like we learned in the previous mission, in mission 2, switch this over to light because I'm not here to move motors. Now I want to know the light source from the sensor. I'm having the cat say whatever the sensor value is for 2 seconds. And so when I put the up arrow, he gives me a reading. In this case, it's 543 based on the gremlin's distance to Flopsy's headlamp. And then I have another program down here. When M is pressed on the keyboard, I dragged in a if-else program, which you can find in the control panel down here. The if-else, I then dragged it in there. I went to operators, and I brought in this element here, if it's less than, and then inside there I just plugged in the light sensor value under sensing. And I went down here, it's the slider, and I made that from slattered to light. What I have a reading is anything less than 550, it's going to move forward. If that's not the case, it's going to jump down here to else, and it's going to have the gremlin go backwards. It's going to wait 1 second, so it's going to move for a total of 1 second, then it's going to stop. And then I'm going to just hit the keyboard again, because sometimes it takes a little bit of reading to adjust the reading. So right now, it's at 543, and as you can see in the window here between Flopsy and the gremlin, what it should do is it should go. I have a program for backward because I have the gremlin facing on the back of the GoPiGo, so it's actually should go forward or go towards Flopsy. Let's find out. Let's find out here. So the gremlin's gotten a little closer. We can now see that the reading is going up. It's at 595, which is just fine for Flopsy. Flopsy does not want this gremlin getting any closer, so the gremlin should now go backwards. In our case, let's see what he does here. Good. So now it's going backward because it's technically forward on the robot. I know it's a little confusing because the reading was higher. And so now Flopsy is forever protected from gremlins attacking her as long as the light threshold stays above 550. The gremlin can't get any closer. Gremlins don't like water. I don't know if you know this, but in our imaginary world, they also don't like bright lights. So Flopsy is safe. So what I've done here is I just created a really cheap light rig here for this sensor. And it actually just goes right into this little fold right here on the back of the GoPiGo. This cardboard, all it is from the Raspberry Pi box. So I wasn't able, I'm not going to reuse this. And so all I did was just take an X-Acto knife and cut out a tab. And then it's got some Velcro. You could use double-sided tape and just tape the light sensor so it'd sit, in my case, right in front of the gremlin, and we were good to go. And so this just slides right in. It's kind of been worn and torn here a little bit. And just folded down just to give it some extra security. And so it's right there. Nothing to it. Cheap, easy fix. No problem. Worked out. So this mission I really like. This is the third mission on Biomimicry. There's so much that can go into this. One of what I really like is the new layers of coding in Scratch, and I think this is a challenge that's going to allow kids to see, especially those that think they're too cool for Scratch, to realize there's some pretty serious coding that can start to develop from this. I love the creativity aspect of this, where they can create their own animals, their own kind of stories or challenges in terms of light. They're a perfect addition when we start talking about this into a lot of science curriculum, especially younger ages with animals, but even older grades. As we start to talk about light and thresholds and how the sensors work, there's just so much that can go into it. I see a lot of potential with interdisciplinary language arts and creative writing and scripting, maybe even shooting their own videos and scenarios using what they've coded and programmed. I see a lot of value in this one. And so this one really kind of makes up for mission 2, depending on the experience that we talked about. If a kid flies through it, this could be one where they really take some time and get invested into their coding, start to see that coding is not just blocks or line code, but can really start to make things happen and make things come to life. And you're able to tap into a variety of resources, a variety of several different subject areas in the school day to bring it all together, connect many standards that we have to teach. And I just think it's going to be awesome. And there's so many different pieces of coding that I think for the kids that are behind and don't quite understand it, you can give them some guidance and some notes, and those that are more advanced can really push their coding to the next level within this mission without getting too far ahead. So this one is awesome. I'm back heading over to increase Flopsy's journey and power packs, as well as get this gremlin looking even sharper and cooler on the GoPiGo. Until mission 4, take care.